Russian President Vladimir Putin has been holding his annual marathon news conference this Friday. It sets the Kremlin's tone for the coming year as journalists and other citizens pose their questions to the Russian leader. The rest of the world is watching too, the West looking for political signs on Ukraine. Now, to break this all down for us, Rochelle Ferguson Bouyahi joins us on set. Thank you so much for joining us. Rochelle, what have we learned from this conference so far?
Well, look, just to say that for those listening in for, signs or indications when it comes to Ukraine, didn't have to wait very long. That was the first topic that was broached by Vladimir Putin, looking at Russia's foreign policy when it comes to Ukraine. He started off then talking about Ukraine, saying that Ukraine isn't ready to stop the war, but seems more open than it has been in times gone by to dialogue. Let's take a listen to President Vladimir Putin speaking there.
And now, in fact, they are refusing to end the conflict by peaceful means. Nevertheless, we do see, feel, and know of certain signals, including from the Kiev regime, that they are ready to engage in some sort of dialogue.
Well, Putin went on from that point, Kemi, to say that, look, they are ready to engage, or there's some indications they're ready to engage in some dialogue. He came back, though, to 2014. We've seen this in Putin's annual speeches in the last couple of years. He came back to 2014. He spoke about a war being unleashed in southeast Ukraine. He said that Russia was ready to stop the war and really waiting to move forward on this. He then hailed successes, hailed the gains that are being made, according to President Putin, in Ukraine by Russian troops. He described the situation on the front as fluctuating, but nonetheless that these troops are advancing. Now, he cited key areas that we are familiar with now, several years into this war. He spoke about his troops moving towards Sloviansk. He said that also Russia now controls 50% of Konstantinivka, and spoke about the Zaporizhzhia region. Now, we know of the strategic importance there because of the industrial implications, and also clearly where it's situated geographically speaking. He also said that his troops have entered the town of Huliapol and promised new successes by the end of the year, militarily speaking. So, as we say, we started off with Ukraine. There may be more to come. It's worth saying that last year this annual press conference lasted 4 hours, and we're only a short time into it. So it could be more to come.
That's right. Lots of carefully crafted questions for the Russian president there. Another main focus, domestic issues. What more could we gather about Russia's economy?
Well, the economy, of course, another clear issue. We slid from Ukraine to an economic slowdown in Russia this year. Putin offering us some key figures there. Slowdown this year to 1% growth. That's from 4.3% in 2024. He says that was a result of conscious actions by the central bank to bring the country's inflation rate down. He said that as a result, the inflation rate, would reach under 6%. That would be by the end of the year. He said the budget then had been managed appropriately, and that would be used to kind of, fund the needs of the armed forces that are in Ukraine currently. The growth of the labour market, however, he says it is modest. Unemployment levels, though, at a record low level, according to President Putin. That was in contrast with last year. So Ukraine first, on to the economy, two clear issues that President Vladimir Putin wanted to get underway during that annual conference. But there'll be much more to come out of that as well.